I felt nauseous now, as if I was coming down with something. Hello? I answered. Kate, Andrea's voice clipped back at me. You're 10 minutes late to the conference call. We're all waiting for you. A headache pounded beneath my eyeball. The call was at 3 p.m. It was 9:30 or 10 a.m. at the latest. I had only just sat down, but then I noticed the clock on my computer. Its black numbers were unmistakable. 3:10 p.m. I'm so sorry, Andrea, I murmured quickly. I just lost the conference number. I'm dialing in now. Okay, please do. I dialed in and pressed the phone to my ear, glancing quickly back at the window across the street. They were all still there, frozen in time. The boss had his hand outstretched, his fingers brushing the blushing tall woman. The mousy woman looked on, her neck stiff and her feet squared. Every few seconds, they twitched slightly, as if they were in a video game experiencing a never-ending glitch. Over and over again. The nightmares were worse that night. This time, they were filled with swirling dresses and red, blooming flowers that withered and died in rotting eyeballs. Blood clotted on lips, fluorescent lights flashed and shattered, spraying glass on threadbare carpet. I awoke in a pool of my own sweat, feeling feverish and weak. But it was Friday. If I could just make it through today, it would all be better. At least that's what I told myself as I drove into the office, white-knuckled, shaking. The office was quiet when I arrived, or rather, hushed. It was as if someone had stuffed cotton balls into my ear canals. Everything seemed softer, muffled. Blurry, indistinguishable faces waved hello from shadowy cubicles. I headed into my office and shut the door, immediately turning my attention to the office across the street. At first, there was only deep, unflinching darkness. But then, as if they knew I was watching, the lights turned on. It was apparent that much time had passed. The man was seated in his office, his hands drumming along his keyboard. I noticed he wasn't wearing his wedding ring. His hair was a bit grayer, and he had a slight frown on his face. The photo of him and his wife was cracked once more, shoved off in the corner of his desk, forgotten and dusty. He appeared to be under stress, looking up at the clock above the doorway and visibly biting his lip. Not yet, not yet, not yet. I could almost hear him speak. Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. The mousy woman was in the attached room, gently tapping her pen on her bottom lip. It left dark, blue smudges. She didn't wear her wedding ring either. She kept glancing at her watch around her pudgy wrist, sighing with each peek. Almost. I could almost hear her whisper. Almost. The tall girl entered the office just then, putting her bag down lightly on the desk chair. It was only when she took off her jacket that my breath caught in my throat. She was pregnant. She was at least 8 months pregnant. She placed one hand gently in her swollen stomach, nodding politely at the mousy woman. The tall girl was wearing a black dress with a vibrant red scarf. It matched her lip color. Mesmerized, I moved closer to the window. The mousy woman moved closer to her. It's time. The mousy woman lunged at the tall girl, completely taking her by surprise. In her one hand was a large, shining knife that she'd grabbed from under her keyboard. The mousy woman plunged it into the girl's stomach repeatedly, each stab making a sickening plop. The tall girl shrieked, her hands moving down to protect her bleeding abdomen, but it was no use. The mousy girl kept stabbing, her hands painted a violent red. The man must have heard the commotion because he'd entered the room in a heartbeat, his eyes scanning the damage. The tall girl had now sunk into the floor, her dress ripped and raw. One hand clutched her swollen and bleeding stomach. The other reached out for the man. The mousy woman just stared, her feet square. Please help this time. I could almost hear her. This time. He stepped over the pooling blood, his hands outstretched to her. She smiled weakly, reaching back out to him, but he didn't grab her hand. No, he grabbed her scarf. With both hands, he yanked the scarf until it was tight around her throat. Her eyes were first painted with shock, then despair. He pulled tighter and tighter as she feebly tried to loosen the scarf that was now her noose.